Yo, 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 what's up? Welcome back to Brandon Smooth TV. I am back at you with another review Wonder Woman 1984. And before I go into this movie, I want to talk about the original Wonder Woman very briefly. Um, the original one was good. I liked all of the scenes on Themyscira. I thought it was a good origin movie and one of the best movies that was coming out of DC at the time. I would even put it. I like the Suicide Squad too, but it's up there. One, two, maybe even three for me. So going from the first movie to this movie, I didn't like this movie, and it's not so much as I didn't like it. It was I had so many questions, and I think the writing of the movie was so flawed that it's even hard to review, to be honest. Um, so this is a review, um, kinda, but to me it's just more of a whole bunch of questions I got, plot holes and things that never got answered. So if you haven't seen Wonder Woman 1984, go watch it and then come back and watch this review. Now, before I get into all the cons, because this movie has more pros than cons, two things I did enjoy about this movie. Number one, I thought the opening scene was great. Um, that was the best part of the movie for me. And then, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, Wonder Woman flies. And I thought all of the scenes where she was flying were awesome. So, as I go through this, I'm just going to read off a list of stuff I wrote down, or questions I had, or comments about the movie that really, to me, didn't make sense. And if you know what it was about, please comment below to let me know. Don't forget to also like and subscribe to the channel. So, the opening scene, you know, little Diana. They had young Diana, and she was competing in some type of huge triathlon for the women on Themyscira to see, who gets to win the Covenant prizes. Basically, like the Olympics. Number one, they said she cheated because she had ended up getting knocked off her horse towards the end of the race, and she took this big old slide down to kind of catch back up with their horse. Basically, it was a shortcut. Why did they have a slide available if that's considered cheating? Just something in the writing I didn't understand. Secondly, I don't know if they have cameras on this island. They may, but how did they even know that she cheated? Because she ended up coming in first, and then, the lady that started the race and that was over, she kind of snatched her up and said, "Hey, you cheated. We're not going to allow you to finish the race." So that was a good question. Secondly, going into the mall scene. The mall scene was super super crazy. Number one, Wonder Woman doesn't wear a mask. Yet she does go out of her way to destroy security cameras that may catch her image. And we all know that Wonder Woman's Diana Prince. So my question is, why doesn't she wear a mask? I'm not gonna just be nitpicky because we know Superman. He just put on a pair of glasses just like this. I'm Superman. Now I'm Clark Kent. I'm Superman. Now I am Clark Kent. So I can leave that to that logic. That's fine. But in this movie, she does go out her way to destroy the cameras, and I thought that was kind of stupid because everybody already knows who the hell you are, Wonder Woman. Secondly, in the opening scene of the movie, we do see a little montage of Wonder Woman running around saving people, and I noticed that they had there were 3 or 4 young girls. They were shoplifting. And Wonder Woman didn't even stop them. Didn't even pull them over and say, "Hey, that's wrong. Don't do that. Tisk, tisk, tisk." So, this movie kind of goes out of its way to make all the male characters dumbasses or just plain evil. And I noticed that because I was like, are they going out of their way to do this? Are they trying to prove a point? I was born in 1988, so maybe in 1984, all the men were assholes. I don't know. But that's something that you will notice throughout the entire movie, how they go out of their way to do that. So, opening scene, basically there are a gang of thieves that are robbing a store in the mall, but it's not your typical store. Basically, it's some type of black market store in the back of a store. So basically they have like a normal store in the mall, and it's like a front. But then when you go in the back, they got like all these expensive artifacts, and it looks like this gang of thieves. They went in there to rob it. So they're trying to escape, and the security's like, call the police, get these guys, get these thieves. The most unrealistic thing I ever seen, probably ever. The guy sees a little girl, and I think he wanted to take her as a hostage. So, typically when people are taken as hostages in movies and in real life, they have a gun to their head, and they're like, hey, I'm going to, shoot, if you don't, give me what I want. This guy takes a little girl, picks her up. He's on like the third or second floor of the mall, and he holds her over the ledge, and her feet are dangling. And everybody's like, no, don't drop the little girl, which I was saying the same thing. But as far as like the extras and the other actors, it was extra. People's eyes are popping out of their head, and it's just a lot of just nonsense. And I was like, who wrote this to be this way? It didn't make sense to me. That whole scene was a little extra. And when you watch it, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Also, there's one kid that's, she's actually, because there's thieves running around with guns, and she's with her mom, but she breaks away from her mom and runs to go see Wonder Woman. I'm like, that wasn't really realistic either. I'm a parent, and if we're in a robbery situation, I wouldn't even have to tell my kids not to get up. They would automatically know that. So, I'm blaming that on the writing again, and I would do that throughout. Then, after that, Wonder Woman does have a day job. I assume she's some type of archaeologist because she works for the Smithsonian. And, she walks into work, hey, how you doing? And then we get introduced to the villain of the movie, one of the villains, because there's two of them, Barbara Minerva, who plays Cheetah. Now, this was one of the dumbest things I seen because they got her as a goofy, kind of dorky nerd, that if you ask her, nobody likes. And it's like, when she comes into the office, the lady asks, who are you? And she explains that you hired me a week ago. So this lady hired a doctor or archaeologist a week ago and don't know who the hell she is? Fam, I just started a new job about a week ago, and they remember me. I also had 21 other people that was hired with me and that was at my orientation. So some of the stuff in this movie, or they just go out of their way and go overboard as far as, if you're a nerd, nobody likes you, nobody remembers you, I want to be liked, I want to be cool. It was just real silly. So Diana, she meets Barbara, and they kind of hit it off. They end up having a drink, and she tells Barbara, she tells Wonder Woman, Diana, how much she admires her, and she thinks she's cool, and she compliments her shoes, blase. That's the way it went. So her introduction was kind of weird because her character is weird, and throughout the movie you will see that they go overboard as far as trying to make her seem like she's an outcast. Now, after they leave work or leave to get drinks or wherever they were leaving, this whole scene was crazy, right? Because she's walking home in the park, and it's this dude in this big brown trench coat that comes out. He got a brown, like Dr. Loomis from Halloween, trench coat, look like a raincoat almost. And he just goes out of his way to start harassing this woman. Not saying it's not guys out there that harass women. You know what I'm saying? Because it is and is a real thing and it's a serious issue, and I don't play that. But this guy went from, hey, you're having trouble walking in those heels, let me walk you home. And then she declines him. She says, no, I'm fine, please leave me alone. He goes from just talking to her, and then he grabs her. He just grabs her like this, and he's like, I'm just trying to help you. And I'm sitting like, trying to help her do what? Walk home? Walking is something we learn before the age of 2. We learned it at 1. In between 1 and 2, you learn how to walk. And the way this character was written was so over the top and far-fetched that it just really didn't make sense. And as I said earlier, they just go out of their way to make all of the men in this movie, minus Diane's love interest, Steve Trevor, look like a straight just a-hole. And I didn't understand that. So he went from, I'm just trying to help you walk home into a crazy, psychotic, late night park rapist. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, what is going on? Who wrote this? It's another theme I'll be saying. I did not understand that. So basically, we meet Max Lord. Max Lord is a failed businessman who's bought a whole bunch of land with different. He bought land that really wasn't really fertile with oil, but he claims he's an oil tycoon. And basically, he's trying to get a hold of the stone, and the stone grants your wishes. So he gets the stone, and he ends up manipulating Barbara, Cheetah's character, into getting the stone, and he makes a wish that he was the wishing stone himself. So now he can grant wishes like a genie, like Aladdin or something. The whole wish concept was stupid in the movie. And when you start introducing magic in the movies, even though, Wonder Woman is a mythological, magic character, her daddy Zeus, it just gets real silly. So Cheetah made a wish. She wanted to be smart, sexy, and cool, like Wonder Woman. So my first question is, did she get all of Wonder Woman's powers when she did that? Because they're real kind of sketchy on how the wishes work. And it was something that they should have went into a little more detail with, so it made sense, especially towards the end of the movie, because once you watch it, you'll be like, this don't make sense at all, which it really didn't. Now, Diana's supposed to be cool. You know what I'm saying? Yet she's an introvert that never goes out. And as fine as Wonder Woman is, she cannot find a man. She is in love with Steve Trevor, even though he died decades ago. That's the only man she wants. Which is weird to me. And kinda and kinda not. Because Wonder Woman in the comics, she's very independent. She don't necessarily need a man. But there are some comic book versions of Wonder Woman that falls in love with Batman, falls in love with Superman, and even though she's super tough warrior, you do like seeing that vulnerability. But in this movie, they just made it seem like she was just jonesing for this one dude, and that's it. And she didn't want anything else in the world but that. She didn't wish to go back to the island. She didn't wish that maybe, her mom came back to life. Anything else. She only wanted this dude. So I understood that, but it was stupid because towards the end of the movie, she has to renounce her wish. And basically Steve Trevor dies again, and then she can get her powers, because every time you make a wish, something is taken from you. So I never really seen Wonder Woman make a wish in the movie. She was looking at old pictures and stuff and reminiscing, but she never really made a wish, which was kind of weird. So her wish was, of course, for Steve to come back, I guess, even though we didn't see it. And what was taken from her was her powers. She slowly started losing her powers throughout the movie, getting injured by bullets, things like that. So I just thought that was kind of silly too, that would be the only thing Wonder Woman will want, but being in love, I guess, I can chop it up to being in love, which is fine. Now, basically, this movie overall is just super goofy. I haven't seen anything like this. I think I know what they were trying to do. They kind of wanted that Superman 1, Superman 2 style goofiness, but it really doesn't work, and it didn't work for this movie. I understand it's 1984, so it was a different time. But comment below, if you're a lot older than me and you grew up in the 80s, I don't even think they was this goofy. This movie was the goofiest movie I've seen. Fall of 2020. I know it's 2021, but this movie was just straight goofy. To the point, like the jokes wasn't hitting. We've already seen Steve Trevor before, that the fish out of water story where everything's new to him, but like when he went down the escalator, I can see going down one of them for the first time being kind of weird. But then he seen a train. What was this? It was a subway train, underground, right? They had trains back when he was alive. And if you go to the future, of course you should think to see updated versions of things that have already been invented. So I was like, why is he just at awe at everything? Ooh, what is this? It's a trash can. It's a plane. It's a train. All of these things existed when you were alive. Even though you were alive a long time ago, those things still existed. So the jokes got old. The whole montage when he was putting on clothes, I tried to laugh. I wanted to laugh, but I didn't laugh at any of that because wasn't none of that funny. So they move on and they're trying to track down Max Lord. You know, and Max Lord, as I said before, he ends up seducing Barbara into getting the wish stone. Now, this is what don't make sense to me. Barbara knew Max Lord for 48 hours. Met her one day, they had a party that night or the next day, and he comes in the party and he's like, "Hey, you want to go somewhere quiet? You know, you want to go?" And she's like, "Yeah, absolutely." She don't even know this guy. This guy is a complete stranger. You understand what I'm saying? That you've known or just met. So it kind of, to me, it took away from the whole scene in the park where she was about to get attacked by the dude that wanted to walk her home. Because like, if you meet somebody and are willing to go there with them within 24 to 48 hours, that person's still a stranger. So I guess the guy in the park messed up because he didn't introduce himself. Maybe if he would have introduced himself and made her laugh, he might have had a better chance. I'm not condoning none of that behavior, but within 48 hours meeting somebody, and then you go into your private office and them seducing you into getting something for your job. Your job is on the line. Your professional career is on the line. If any of these artifacts get lost, I'm pretty sure you're going to lose your job. And you met this dude within 48 hours and bam, he get whatever he want. That was just the weird part right there. Now, basically, like I was saying, Wonder Woman and Trevor, they got to track down Max Lord. They know he got the stone. They know what it does. And when they flew to Egypt, they had to go get a plane from the Smithsonian. Now, when they go in, because we all know that Steve Trevor's a pilot, and she says, "Which plane do you want to choose?" Thinking about his time and thinking, I would say, you know what, he probably is going to choose an old time plane, you know, from his era that he knew how to fly since he's a pilot. This fool picked like a brand new jet, and he immediately gets in there, starts flipping switches, and knows how to fly. So I'm not a pilot, but I guess you can fly any plane. It don't matter whether 50, 60, 70 plus years have passed and technology has advanced this much, you automatically know how to fly a plane since you're a pilot. You know. I don't know. Maybe it's like that. But when they flew to Egypt, and this is a little nitpicky, which is fine, but when they flew to Egypt, they didn't have any suitcases or bags. And Wonder Woman's suit just magically appeared out of nowhere. I think that's a plot hole. Even Superman and Spider-Man, they keep their suit underneath their regular clothes. Wonder Woman didn't have nothing. In one scene, she's just wearing regular clothes. The next scene, in the car chase scene, boom, I just got my outfit. It's magic. This movie got wishes, wishing stones, magic. I guess it's just all magic. And I was like, how did she get her armor on? Where did her armor come from? I'm confused. This whole movie confused the shit out of me. That's why I didn't like it. Next, I did have a question about the wishes. Because towards the end of the movie, you know, Max Lord, the villain, who ended up becoming the wishing stone itself, he ends up granting people's wishes, right? And I'm watching the movie and I'm thinking to myself, if everybody in the world got to make a wish, right? Wouldn't some of the wishes contradict some of the other wishes? If I wish to be the richest man in the world, right? And my neighbor wishes to be the richest woman in the world, right? Who's the richest person in the world? How does that work? The movie never explains that. And that goes back to the writing. I don't understand who wrote this and what the hell this movie's really about. It's not making any sense. So, Cheetah's character, you know, I forgot the actress that plays her. I think it's Kristen Wiig. You know, she was the same one that was in Ghostbusters. I'm not gonna lie. The only other movie I've seen her in is Ghostbusters. And that new remake for Ghostbusters was whack compared to the original with Bill Murray, which is off the chain with the big marshmallow man back when I was younger. That was off the chain. She laughs. Her character, Barbara, she laughs after everything she says. And it got to the point where I was like, this isn't funny. I know what you're trying to do, but this isn't funny. And why are you laughing after every single thing you say? It's stupid. We got it within the first 5 minutes of meeting your character. We know you did, so you know you're an outcast, blase, blase. There's no reason to laugh after every time you say something. It's just stupid. And to be honest, to me, She played the same character in Ghostbusters that she played in this. But I don't 100% blame her for it. I go back to the writing and the script of this movie. I don't understand what it's about. Now, when Wonder Woman was Steve back, my question was, why didn't they just bring Steve back? I mean, you already got magic. Make his body come back up somehow. It's magic. Everything else is magic. Instead, they had Steve, I guess his spirit, came back in another dude's body. But when Wonder Woman sees the dude, she sees Steve. Meanwhile, everybody else on Earth see who this dude is. And I just have some questions. Does this dude have a girlfriend? Does he have kids? Does he know that his body is on this journey? Can he feel? Is he going to remember any of this? It was just silly because at the end of the movie, after Wonder Woman renounces her wish, once she did that, that means Steve, I guess his spirit went back to heaven or whatever. And she meets the dude that Steve's spirit took over. But he didn't remember her. This movie's confusing as hell, y'all. I'm trying to make sense. I'm trying to make sense of it. I can't make sense of this. This movie's crazy, y'all. I can't make sense of what happened. So, yeah. That's all I have to say about that. There was a scene also in the movie where they made the jet invisible. I thought that was just, it was kind of fan servicey. We all know, back in the cartoons, the Super Friends cartoon, that Wonder Woman flew in an invisible jet. I just thought that was goofy. Also, of course they have radar, and they made a joke about radar, because the planes back in the day that Steve flew didn't have radar. Of course the ones, 1984 do. Just because you make a plane invisible doesn't mean that it can't be detected by radar. That's not what that means. Invisibility is invisibility. You just can't see it. But the plane should have still been able to be detected by radar. But as soon as she made the plane invisible, boom, radar's gone. Plot holes, just weird stuff going on. I don't understand that. Now, another plot hole that I noticed, Wonder Woman learned to fly in this movie. This movie occurred in 1984. Why wasn't Wonder Woman flying in the Batman v Superman movie? Why wasn't Wonder Woman flying in Justice League? Why? We don't know. This movie's a big question mark for me. It's just why? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? Why doesn't this make sense? And, the villain ended up relinquishing his powers. He renounced his gift towards the end because Wonder Woman saved everybody with a speech, which was weird. I thought this was the wackest climax out of all DC movies ever. But once he renounced his wish, he has a son. And his son appears in the movie maybe 2 or 3 scenes. Who is babysitting Max Lord's son this entire movie? That's what I want to know. Who is this kid with? This kid is in the office. And he did have like an assistant or a secretary, but you never see them two on screen together. So it's a little boy, he's like 8 or 9 years old. He's just running around on his own. Who is babysitting this kid? Max Lord loves his son, but he don't never want to be with him. He ain't never around him. This kid is just running around unsupervised. This movie's a big question mark, y'all. And I could really go on. I might have to split this up in a 2-part video because it doesn't make sense. And this is whack compared to the original Wonder Woman movie. I'm sorry. So, yeah, this review was a little longer because I can just keep going on with questions about this movie and things that don't make sense. Still check it out if you want to. If you're a Wonder Woman fan, that's fine, But they got to do better. Patty Jenkins, she's a great director. She did good with the first Wonder Woman. I know she has a Star Wars project that she's doing too. But Wonder Woman 84 is I'm never watching it again. And I love superhero movies. So that's basically my review of the movie. Again, please like and subscribe to the channel. Thank everybody. Peace out.